mean, I'm sure everyone, is waiting to know who the flag bearer is going to be. It's a lot of intrigue going on, but you will have noticed that people without money are not showing up on that radar at all. I was listening to Basharu Dele Momodu, and he said that he went in there to the convention of PDP. He paid no one, and he got no votes. Some people said humorously that he distributed Ovation magazine and he got no votes, right? I mean, as funny as that may seem, it's also very, very sad, but it's not sad, it's what it is. The rule of the game is money. And if you don't build your financial war chest, I mean, like Godswill said, it's not a microwave thing. We're going to take a journey. We have to plan. And everyone here has got a plan to be very wealthy, because Jews, from my understanding, every Jewish child wants to be wealthy. You know why? Jews believe that the only way to fight injustice and reverse injustice is through money. That when you have money, you can fight injustice. So if all of us here, 51 of us, are billionaires, we can say everyone drop $1 billion, that's 50 billion or 51 billion, and say we want to install our president in Nigeria. It has happened before in America. There was a time in the history of America, the monopolists, they were threatened. The Rockefellers, Andrew Carnegie, and Vanderbilt, they were threatened. And these guys don't mix normally. And there was a new president, Theodore Roosevelt, who was going to come in, and they felt the guy was going to be too hard for them. So what did they do? They came together because they knew their interests would be threatened, and they funded their own president and installed him. So I always say to good people that good people just think that all they want to do is to pray and something will just happen. It doesn't work that way, right? Prayer is also action, right? And so the way Africa is right now, we have to match money for money, match their money for money. So there are even conversations we shouldn't be getting involved with right now because we're not qualified, right? No matter your wisdom, like we always say, somebody said, if your wisdom cannot affect your pocket, you need to begin to examine that wisdom, because a wise man delivered a city, but it was not remembered. And like Fisayo would say that everyone has a voice, money is the volume. So today, I think it's good to make money for a good cause. Today, I have someone I respect so much. He's an angel investor. I have known him from the time he was in Nigeria. He was in the university. And we had met during the LEAP program. I mean, if there's anyone who I know knows almost everybody I need for anything, is this guy, right? I mean, he's a connector. How he does it, I do not know. I mean, he was with, he left Lagos, went to Abuja. From Abuja, he went to Zambia. When he was in Zambia, he still kept in touch. When he left from Zambia, moved to the US, he joined the US Army. After joining the army, he came to Nigeria for a holiday. He still found his way to my house. I mean, some people, they have not, ordinary Nigerian police like this, they don't even see you anymore. It was in US military. He still came to my house. He was still listening to me. He still considered me as his and when I got to the US, guess who came to pick me at the airport? It was this guy and another friend called Major. Major is the one we call Abale in Texas, in Dallas. Right. In fact, I remember that day, I was still trying to find out where are they. Then it was as if I was going to be kidnapped. I just looked at him and lo and behold, it was Wale. We have in the house today the director of Midlothian Angel. He's an angel investor, a venture capitalist. He also works with Microsoft. We have, one day I came to Dallas and he took me out for dinner. I can't forget that day. The dinner was a buffet. I had to waste the money because my tummy, every little food like this, my tummy is already full, So this guy has taken care of me. If there's anyone who has been there since I landed in Dallas, Texas, this is one of them. He's been there. So help me thank him, everyone in House of Saviors. He has made my stay in America very simple. Last weekend, he was still introducing me to someone that I needed. I mean, it's selfless at what it does. So we're going to explore his life a bit, and we're going to find out, how do you position yourself for venture capitalists? What are they looking out for? I mean, he has sat on interview panels consistently, you know. Well, House of Saviors, help me welcome this morning or afternoon, wherever you are, or evening, if you're joining from the Middle East, my brother Wale Salami. Wale, you're welcome.
It's a pleasure. Can you hear me?
We can't hear your. It's breaking.
Yeah, I'll go without. Is it better now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. It's better.
Great.
Better without the headset.
All right. Okay. All right. Sorry, give me a minute. Yeah. Okay. It's a pleasure, PF. Thank you so much for the invitation. I mean, it's an honor of a lifetime to be at the House of Saviors today. I remember when it was just an idea, and it feels like a crazy idea when you say you're gonna do this on Sunday mornings. You know, this last night I thought I was gonna be, speaking so much like so. What happened to church? I'm like, church is over here, baby. It is wherever people are welcome to be. So it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you, Wale. There seems to be something, the distortion in the volume, I think, or the voice, it's not totally clear. You want to check what is going on?
Okay, what I can do is probably use the voice of my phone. So let's see. I'll just mute this and see how that goes.
Okay.
All right. Please give me a minute.
Okay, guys, fasten your seatbelts. We're going to dive deep into this. There's a lot to pick from Wale's life, and I'm sure that you guys are going to get a lot of gist that will help you. Remember, it's about impact here, and I want to believe that we're going to have a great time. Okay. Okay, Wale, are you ready now? Are you still? Okay. So, okay. Okay, we can't hear you. We can't hear you at all. Are you on mute? Yeah, you're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute. Your distance is on mute. Can you unmute yourself? Okay, I'll switch on mute.
Yes, I just joined another device. Can you unmute it?
Okay, you need to turn off one.
Yeah, I just joined with another device so I can turn off this one. Can you unmute that one?
Okay.
Device.
Which other device? I'm looking for you.
Yeah, Middle Angel.
Midlothian Angel. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Let me look. Admin, can you spot that? Midlothian Angel. Okay, Middle Angel. I think I can see this. Yeah. Okay. That has American flag, I believe. Spotlight. Okay. Admin, you can see Middle Angel. Can you put that on for me? Middle Angel. Okay, ask to mute. So Wale, I think
we're good. Yeah, I think we're good now. Is it better now? Is the voice better?
This is better, much better. Okay.
Great. Yeah, thank you so much. It's a pleasure. I'm totally honored to be here, and we can set the ball rolling now.
Okay, but I can't. I'm trying to see your face.
My face
okay. I think I know what is happening now.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's.
Yeah, and my slide is on the other one, the one that has a poor voice. I mean, so I have two laptops here. Well, I was using my office laptop, so I think
fantastic. I think we're good now. Okay, so Wale, let me start with, I mean, you were an engineer, studied engineering, then you moved into, you started working with people. You know, I know that the first time I met you was at Leap Africa, you know, and I know that you were in school. You know, you've always wanted to work with people, bring people together. You know, how did you get in? Because I mean, you seem to know everybody and everybody and everybody. If anybody needs money, you are just the person to go to. You seem to be able to mobilize. How did that start?
Well, thank you very much. I don't know everybody. I'm still I'm still working on knowing more people. But yeah, we met in 2006 at a leadership program organized by Leap Africa. And that leadership program was actually a pivotal. It was an eye opener for me because I was a second year engineering, mechanical engineering student in at Lagos State University, and I was selected for that program, and it's just like it's more like my life flashed before me. And if you can remember some of the sessions, like we were forced to, like, I said forced because at that point those concepts were very new to me. We were forced to write our personal mission statement, set goals, short, medium, and long-term goals. We were made to come up with like designing our self-portrait. That was a session that I would never forget. In fact, I did it when I met my girlfriend, who happens to be my wife now. After we dated for 8 years, I had to do a session with that, like on self-portrait, like who are you? Those assignments they gave us in class, I gave it to her. I go and interview people, because what I discovered was self-discovery is very, very key. It's very key. A man who hasn't known himself cannot conquer his world. And in knowing oneself, you will know what your do's and what your don'ts are. And every man on earth needs to unlock that particular key before success can be achievable. So I think that was what happened to me. I got a sense of my true self, because what the world sees is different from the true self. I know you understand that concept. And that was what actually did to me. It sharpened my leadership skills. And one of the things I learned at the youth leadership program was networking. I discovered that whatever I need in life is in the hand of somebody, right? All I needed was just to assess that person, and it's very, very key. I mean, when I relocated to the US, the first goal I had then, because I'm of this habit which I learned from Daystar, where you set a goal like a week before the end of the year, you set a goal. I sent that goal to my mentor. Of course, I share it first with my wife, accountability partners, and all that. And every month or every quarter, they send me emails saying, "Okay, yeah, I can see you just bought a house now. Yeah, I checked your goal; it's part of it. Good job." Deliberate living. And those were some of the things I picked up. And when I came into America, the first actually that was in Zambia. I read a book, and it says that you should take a millionaire to breakfast once every month. I started doing that when I was in Zambia. How much was my salary? I was just saying it's $500. In fact, when I got the fellowship program in Zambia, I remember telling a friend who was living in the UK, and she said to me, "Your mates are going to UK, US. You are going to Zambia. What is happening in Zambia?" But at that level, at that point, I couldn't be bothered because I knew who I was. I understand. What purpose? God has given to me, right? And I knew that Zambia was where I was going to activate that. So it is very, very important, because if you don't know where you're going, if you don't know who you are, you would think anywhere could get you there, and that's why it's very, very, self-discovery is very, very key. I think for me, that would be the very first thing, knowing oneself.
Okay. You touched on something in passing, and I hope our people got it. You were taking a millionaire to breakfast every month. How did you do that? And, how did you get the millionaires? What did you say to them? What kind of restaurant did you take them to? how did they agree to follow you? And what were the questions you were asking?
Yeah, thank you very much, PF. One thing I have learned when it comes to networking is that everybody in life has a need, right? So what you need to understand is to do your research and find that need. And once you understand that need, you come up with a solution and you talk to them. Like if I'm meeting the governor of Texas today, I won't be telling him, "Oh, I admire your office. You're number one man in Texas." No, I'll tell him, "Do you know there's a solution to gun violence?" Because that is his headache. At the moment, that is his headache, right? Even though I'm leaning towards the Democratic Party, I won't even bring up the party because we need to look for what unites us and what his needs are. Once I can understand a circle of what a circle of its needs, it's easier to influence him. And what I usually do is just write a message or an email, telling them, from my research, I'll go to do thorough research their companies, look for what is missing. And I tell them, you know what, given that I've studied this like 3 years ago, I think I have some answers here. Would you mind a lunch and all that? Of course, if I invite them for a lunch, I'm the one that is paying. They are eating, I'm not eating. I'm there with my daughter, I did that in Zambia, and the guy was just like, I noticed you're not eating. I said, I didn't come here to eat. The food is for you, and it's very, very important. Up till today, every Tuesday, there's a place I go to in Midlothian where I meet with the mayor of the city. It's not by chance. It's deliberate. Because in all thy gettings, you need to understand the people who wield the power. If not, you will just wake up one day and you see that the hair has been. How the Yoruba proverb say, what's the faori? So and I have made it a point of duty, in every city, every state I get to in the US, the first point of contact is to know who the mayor is. Know who the mayor is. By the next 2 weeks, I'm sitting with him having lunch. Not just lunch saying that, no, lunch, he knows my name. I have his number. If I send him a message right now, he would respond. You know why he would respond? Because anytime they're running for office and all of those stuff, while other people are, on their case, I'll just tell him, Mr. Mayor, how much is your budget? Campaign budget? It's a 5,000. It's usually very minor, very small money. $5,000. Some of them don't even need money. But I send, irrespective of that, I send a check telling them this is from Wale Salami and family. We send a check, it goes in, and in America, everything is documented. I can even claim that in my taxes, And so why would I send that kind of man a message and he won't respond? Because he knows I'm coming in to fulfill a need. I'm not there to get something from him. Of course, something would always come, something will always drop, but not immediate. I was at a place yesterday in the city, and someone was telling me about the issues they're having with the city. They are not approving this, they're not approving that. I just, you know what? I'll talk to you again on Tuesday. Why? I didn't even tell them I'm going to see the mayor because some of these people, they are, because of their position, they have blind spots. There are some things they're not seeing. So they need people like us. I mean, in my city, I know the mayor, I know the police chief. Right, I've had a one-on-one with the police chief, so I mean, it's very, very important because one of the, you cannot conquer the world if you don't understand the fundamentals. And I think understanding the fundamentals, who holds the power, who wields it, and how to assess that is the fundamental of the power game.
Thank you very much, Wale. You are giving us a masterclass. We've not even got into why I brought you, but there is something I have noticed. You seem to be you seem to be the outlier, not the norm. Okay. When it comes to what you're saying you're doing, and I'll give you an example. I was having a session with Nigerian in Edmonton in Canada. I think on their family day, which was, I think, in February or March. And before I went for that meeting, the first thing I did was to go check out who the mayor was to understand his story. And I saw that their mayor was a taxi driver, an Indian taxi driver, who went back to India after 2 years in Canada, and they framed him up for an offense, and he went to jail for like 5 years. On the 5th year, they realized that he wasn't the one they were supposed to jail. Came back to Canada, started driving a bus, And from bus driving, got into politics. Long shot, he became a mayor. I shared that story with the Nigerian community. None of the people in that meeting ever had that story before, including a Nigerian in the meeting who is a policeman. In fact, they said, no, our mayor has never gone to prison. So they went to Google and they saw the story. And so why is it that, could it be that when we leave Nigeria, there is something Nigeria has done to us? I mean, our leaders are not accessible. You can't say you are going to meet your local government chairman or you're going to meet your governor. Why? I mean, you're thinking, I'm looking at it right now and I'm like, people come here and the next thing is, how many jobs can I combine? How many money that is not enough? Why should I, give this money to donate my money to a politician abroad and things like that? Why do you think, our people are like that? And why do we need to change that mentality to this mentality? Could this be the reason why we are the most educated and yet we are the least powerful?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the problem with Nigerians in the diaspora is what I call the I have arrived mentality, right? I mean, once they move to a new city, they see the nice parks. They go to the eyebrow estates, and they're like, "Oh my God, I need a house here." And the day they buy that house, they put it on Facebook, announce it to the world, to show they have arrived. I remember when I relocated to the US in 2014. In fact, my first flight, it was the day I entered America. I knew I had to join the US Army. Okay. Because I was on a connecting flight between Chicago and Tulsa, Oklahoma. I had a sister living in Tulsa. I was going to stay with her. And we were about to board, and they said, all of you hold on, whether you have a first class ticket or not, there are some special class of people that needs to go in before you. And they call them active duty, military, and veterans. And I looked at it as where I was coming from. You wear soldier uniform, the bus conductor will start harassing you, treat you with disrespect and all that. So that got to me, because I felt like this is something else. I saw the importance, the respect I was attached to the people who served. And then at that airport, I started Googling US Army, what is a veteran? And I saw that even before the existence of America, there were some organizations that had existed. In fact, one of the US Army was morphed into, it used to be the resistance army. It was what fought the British. That was a guerrilla, whatever we call now terrorists or whatever. They were not a registered army when they started, and they came together like normal citizens, buying guns and all of those. So I say, we need to confront these British people. They can't be taxing us, And it was after they got independence, they now, morphed into what we have today as a US Army. And from the US Army, you have the Marines and all of that. Like, it flows down, right? When I discovered that, then I got the key. I said, okay, for me to understand this country, I need to understand what created it. And that's why I joined the army. I need to understand what created it. I remember during my graduation in the army, I graduated with about 250 other soldiers. 249 of them have their families there. I was the only one without my family. Well, my wife was sitting in Lagos, hustling and all of those stuff. And my sister was busy. I won't blame anybody. It's totally understandable. But after the graduation, the commander called us to, like, the soldiers to a meeting. He was reflecting on the day, and then he asked, how did your day go? And somebody said, oh, it must have been a terrible day for Salami. They said, why? He said, because his family, they weren't here. So this commander asked me, so how do you feel? I said, well, yeah, it would have been better if I had a family here. But what this soldier is missing is that I'm in the midst of my brothers and sisters, so my family is here, and that was one of the reasons, why I joined the military. That's one. Number two, in the next 10, 20 years, I don't want anybody to ask me who am I or where am I coming from, right? Because I understand the respect that is beholden on that institution. Like, I remember after graduating from the boot camp, my first ever experience, I was driving. I just picked up my car. I just bought a car. I went to pick it up. I was driving between some remote states, some remote cities in Oklahoma, and my GPS went off. The way you go through some places and GPS started misbehaving, and I didn't know where I was going. I just saw a grocery store, and I parked my car. Fortunately for me, I was in my military uniform. I parked my car, entered that place. In fact, at first I was scared because they were all white. There was no one single black person. There are cities like that in America. And immediately they saw me alight from the car. I put on my cap, and I walked in. They all stood at attention. They stood at attention. At first, I was like, okay, am I in the right place or not? And somebody else said, hey, soldier, what can we do for you? I said, oh, I'm lost. When they heard I'm lost, the one that was drinking coffee dropped it. The one that was talking, they all came around and said, you can't be lost. You're a soldier. What do you do? They bought me a map. They bought me coffee. They bought me everything. One old man came and I said, thank you for your service. My son was in the military and all that. They got me like, I didn't even need what they bought for me eventually because they explain how I can just jump on I-20 and you can go down, you get to Texas, and that is the power, of aligning yourself to a vision that is bigger and higher than you. And that is what, as immigrants, we need to do. We need to look for, I'm surprised. I'm not surprised that those guys didn't know the story of their mayor. I told you, like when I come to any city, like when I got into Midlothian, and I Googled mayor, I realized it was an Air Force veteran. The next day I met him, I was just like, thank you for your service. I was like, oh, that's good. And he asked me for myself. I told him I'm also a US Army veteran. That's how we clicked. As in I think it comes from a background of the mistrust from the political class in Nigeria. But what I usually tell people is that you regret to America or Canada, it doesn't mean you have arrived. No. I understand the law of physics. I studied mechanical engineering. One law that I really love so much is the law was when we're talking about machine, law of machine. And they tell you a lever is something that can help you to do your work better, right? It's a law of leverage. America is a leverage. You haven't arrived. It's just giving you more tools to be able to do much more. It's like a catalyst, and with that you can, go into different places. I remember the first time I was going to the UK with my US passport, and we had about 200 of us disembarking for the plane, and I saw that naturally people started shifting, and people with different passport colors go this way. And I asked the guy that, where do I go? He said, oh, you have a blue passport. I said I should just go over there. I didn't see nobody there. Sorry, please give me a minute. I think one of my Ogaza is away. Let me get out to the mall.
Okay, guys, we wait for Wale to come back. But what have you been learning so far? What has stood out for you? Can I see your, response in the chat box? What has stood out for you so far? For me, is the audacity. And audacity is a function of your mentality. Okay. Yes. Wale, I'm listening. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Is it better now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where was I?
Yeah. You were talking about the leverage that America gives you.
Yes. The leverage. So for me, the first thing we need to understand is you have not arrived. You have not arrived anywhere. In fact, to ensure that I haven't arrived, when I relocated, I didn't post until like 2-3 years later after my wife joined me, because I felt like as a married man, if I was going somewhere and my wife is not there, I have not gotten there, right? So I joined the army, got my citizenship. The next day, I begin like filing for my wife, and until she arrived, that's when I started like putting pictures out there and say, oh, yes, God has helped us now. We have relocated to the States. Even at that point, I knew I haven't arrived. Even right now, I have not even gotten anywhere. Because it's still day one. It's still day one. It's still day one, and there's a lot to do. The first thing is to understand that the local environment we are in, and go in and become one of them. The problem with the average African American immigrant is, we still, like, some people want to buy something in Walmart, they are converting it to Naira. You're no longer in Nigeria. You're no longer in Lagos. You are earning money in dollars now. You're working in America. Live as an American. We need to find a ways to blend in. It doesn't mean we have to lose ourselves. No, but we need to blend into the culture. Like if you come to my house now, you'll see the American flag flying. Like I have the Nigerian flag too. It's in my garage. Probably on October 1st, I'll put it outside, right? But you'll see the American, if you, of all the houses here, like on my street, we have about, say, 50 houses, right? About 20 of them are flying the American flag. So there's no way you pass a house and you say, that's the house of that Nigerian boy. It's the house of an American, of a Nigerian American. So we need to build that bridge, and we need to be very, very intelligent culturally, so that such that it will be difficult for people to like define us. That's why it's difficult for our people to go into politics, because people still see them as that guy who came from Nigeria, right? And everything they do, if they want to take vacation, is Lagos they are going. Okay. I don't know people who go to Lagos for vacation because Lagos is not a vacation spot. Maybe if you go to Akure, all those hills and all of those nice spots. So for me, it's very, very important. We need to eliminate that I have arrived mentality and understand that it's day one. It's day one. Like whatever you have, I remember one of my egbons came in, and I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. And he invited me for a session, more like a clarity session. I was asking me, I want to do this, I want to do that. How do I go about it? And the first thing I told him, I said, whatever you have learned in Lagos or Abuja or in Nigeria, I said, just put it together, wrap it up and put it aside. I said, because it's a different terrain here, right? This person is someone who does public speaking. And I told him, people in Nigeria will pay to come and hear you. Why? Because Nigerians naturally, they are depressed. They love to hear good speeches. Americans won't pay. I mean, I'm sure that's so surprising to people because we have TD Jakes, we have Brian Tracy. Oh, Brian Tracy is not even known in his city in America. They don't know him. His mayor probably doesn't know his name, right? Brian Tracy is only known because he has written books that people outside of America, have jumped on and they are getting inspiration from, so I told him, like, just put it aside because if you come to the US or Canada or UK and you want to succeed using what works in Nigeria, it's like writing a 2022 exam within 1980 syllables. It will not work. It will not work because what works in Nigeria can't work in a properly planned society. It cannot. If it is working, there's something is wrong with our society, So that's another thing. It's a time to renew our minds, have new friendships. When I started Midlothian India Network, my co-founder is a Caucasian guy. He's a white guy from my MBA class, like if you see him, he'll tell you, Wale is my brother. And honestly, we are brothers, right? Because it is very, very important that we understand that law of leverage and look for institutions within the society that can connect. I have a friend in Canada who is already the president of the local Rotary Club. This guy went to Canada just about 3 years ago. When I saw that, I said, Kunle, well done. You're doing a wonderful job. Because that is what it takes. That is what it takes. Because at that level, they're not treating you as an immigrant. You are a member of the society, and they will give you your worth in that society and treat you as one.
Okay. Wale, thank you very much. Now, let me come back to, the reason why we're here. I mean, a lot of people have ideas, but there's the general belief that, there's no money to fund my ideas. People believe that money is very scarce. So you hear the complaint that, I have this project, it's because of money. I have not been able to do this project. Only if I can have money. Money is, I need capital. I mean, you hear that all the time. Is money really scarce when it comes to ideas, when it comes to funding? Because that's what you do. And as you are answering that question, what I know is I know Nigerians who come to look for money. But you are funding ideas as a Nigerian in America. How did you get to that level? And I want you to touch on that as you answer that question. I mean, is it that money is scarce? Is it that there's no capital to fund ideas? What do you think the problem is?
I don't think money is scarce at all. I think we even have too much money in circulation looking for great ideas. The problem is where we are looking, and then the strategies with which we are going around doing that. Money is always out there, and So when it comes to funding projects, at Middleton Angel Network, we have a set of criteria that we use. I have a slide, but I can probably send it to you later on. And one of the metrics.
If you want to share it, you can share it if you have it available,
okay.
readily available.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's very readily available. Give me a minute. Alrighty. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. Let me. Okay, transition slideshow. All right. Let me know when you can see it. All right.
Yeah.
So, like, this is what I usually call the angel investing one-on-one, right? And I won't bore you with all the stories. Who is an angel? We can always go through that later on. But when it comes to funding an idea, these are the checklists we look at. Number one, that solution, does it, who are your target audience? Because there's no solution that is meant for everybody. Except you are creating a new product called jollof rice or ice cream, and those are the ones that have mass appeal. But if you're going to be successful, there's something called product market fit. Like, what segment of the market does your product like act as a magnet to? For instance, Apple is not for everybody. It's not for everybody. But the people who Apple is made for, if they tell them Apple is being released, Apple product is being released tomorrow, some of them will take the day off and go and queue up at the store to get it, right? That's what we talk about, product market fit. So you have to find your target audience. The next one is capital efficiency. You see some businesses, they tell you, oh, we are generating $20, but we are spending $1,000 to do that. I have a problem with that, because it means you're not capital efficient. And a lot of businesses, in this ecosystem are built that way. Something is critically wrong with that business model. Another one is scalability. Like, can you scale this business solution? For instance, I have my mentor in this space is a guy from California. Of course, he's a white guy, and this guy invested $25,000 in Uber in 2006. In 2006, Uber was just in one city, and the name of that city is called San Francisco. In just one city, the guy came to a pitch session, just like we do every month. We have a pitch session where our angels come in, they listen to founders looking for money, and they pitch to them. So the CEO of Uber came and pitched to them. That room was filled with like 50 people, but only 5 people invested in Uber that day. That today, when the pitch was going on, Uber was worth $5 million during that pitch. Today, as I'm talking to you right now, Uber is worth $62.5 billion, right? That $25,000 that guy invested is worth $400 million today. Don't worry, it looks like balu, but I will explain it as we go on. We will look at the valuation and how your multiple exit and all that. So scalability is very important, and that's why I brought up Uber. Can your solution leave San Francisco and go to Lagos, Idumota, and still function? That is what we call scalability. Does it have a plug and play mechanism? Can you plug it, as in remove it from US and go to Mexico and it still works? That's a global appeal. That's scalability. There are some solutions that, once they leave Lagos, they can't even work in South Africa. Right? They can't work in South Africa. So when someone like that comes and say they're not funding me, the issue is not that they're not funding you, it's because you have a defective product which doesn't have a product market fit. Another one is a functional prototype. I think I've already explained that. Then we also look at measurable traction. How many users do you have? When I was preparing for this session, I got a message from some guy. I guess messages like that, I even love them. We call them cold emails. He just sent me his product, explaining, what caught my attention was he has about 6,000 users and he has already generated $42,000 in revenue. I was like, good job, because for me, it shows you're serious. Do you have revenue? Are you, how attractive are you? Are the unit economics? And as a rule, we don't fund products that have no revenue. Because any product or company that you're building that doesn't have revenue is an NGO. And we don't do NGOs, right? Then, which is the most important thing for me, is how the cross-functionality of the team. How exotic is the team behind the project? There's a guy that we invested in Houston last year. He's building a restaurant, a world-class. So this guy is trying to use African meals and give them the Western appeal. One of the issues I've always had with African restaurants in the US and everywhere is that when you go to an African restaurant, you will know you're in an African restaurant because something is always wrong.
Yes.
Probably the AC is not working, or the servers are just rude. Yeah. But you know what this guy has done? He left his job and he went to take a job at this Mexican grill. What's their name again? It's not coming to me now. But he went there, and I asked him during the pitch. I said, "Why did you do that?" He said, "Because I wanted to understand their model. I wanted to know how supply chain works, how they build such an efficient product." These guys, they're actually my favorite restaurant in the US, because you go in, you see what they are doing. I mean, it's salad. They make it in front of you. They put it in your plate and everything. They arrange it together and they pack it. I give it to you. It's a very popular Mexican grill. When I remember the name, I'll come back. What interested me was because this guy wanted to start a restaurant, he went somewhere to go and work for it, and that blew my mind off. At that point, I knew he was going to get money from us, right? So how versatile is that team? You see some people tell you, "Oh, we are building a fintech hub." Yeah, thank you very much, Johnson. Chipotle. Yeah, he went to Chipotle to go and learn. Somebody just answered in the comment section. Thank you so much, Johnson. Yeah, he went to Chipotle and he worked in Chipotle. I knew this guy was going to be successful. Because it takes some kind of mentality and traits to run a successful company, and that is one of them. The fact that you can do anything to be successful, anything in terms of and this was something I learned in Nigeria. When I was in Nigeria, I used to go to a lot of seminars. One day I was at a seminar with Jimo Ibrahim, and he said, if you cannot be, if you're not ashamed to do anything, some people will tell you, "I can't sell books. My friends will see me on the road." I can't do this. See, the real successful people, there's nothing they can't do. Once it is not budging on illegality, So for me, that was something. Another one is a global investment. Can this really attract global stuff? Yeah, so those are the things we look out for. And money is everywhere. There's money. Honestly, there's money. The problem is how solid is that idea? Because according to data that we have, I know that out of every 20 companies, so in the angel investment space, there's a rule we call the 100, 10, and 1 rule. It means if I want to do any investment, I have to screen 100 projects. Out of those 100, I'll pick 10 that I will invest in. Out of those 10, I only need one of them to become a unicorn or to be successful, and I'm good, right? In my own case, I don't even talk to 100. I talk to 40, and I pick just one, right? Because what it means is that when a company raises money at the pre-seed stage, I'll go through the stages of later on. At the pre-seed stage, 40% of those companies at that stage, they won't make it to the next stage. So as an angel investor, I have to ensure that I'm backing the right guys who have potential, who will make it to the next round. Yeah, and when it comes to funding, this is a very, very important one. It's called the funding round. So when somebody starts a business, right? You want to start let's say you want to start a credit card system in Nigeria, and then you have $10,000. You put that $10,000. If you don't have an IT background or you can't write software, you give somebody who can write the software for you. That's you investing $10,000. Then you started managing it yourself. That's called sweat equity, right? After a particular time, you have a product, a product market fit. You have an MVP. An MVP is a minimum viable product, right? What does that mean? It means that if your product is a church, all you need for your MVP is just to have a room with 2 people sitting in the audience. You don't need to have a choir. You don't need to have a megaphone, right? It's the minimum viable, like the minimum requirement for that product to be successful. At least the church needs to have people that listen to the pastor, right? Mm-hmm. So you need 2 people, right? So in the same way, that's why I told you when my mentor invested in Uber was in just one city, because all you need to test that Uber works was to be operational in one city, right? So when you're done with all of that, you now call your friends and family and tell them the $10,000 that I thought was going to be enough. I spent it. I need more money. That's what Mark Zuckerberg did in Harvard, in his dorm in Harvard. After he started Facebook, he has spent his money. He called his friends. He said he invited about 10 of them to that meeting. Only 5 showed up. Out of those 5, about 2 invested. Those 2 are billionaires today. Right? So that's called friends and family. So I'm speaking to the people listening to me today. When your friends come in and tell you, oh, there's something I'm building, I need just $1,000. Please don't push them away, because sometimes you might be pushing away your breakthrough. Right? So that's friends and family. So friends and family come and say, okay, we'll give you $20,000, right? They give you $20,000. That takes your project from point B to point C. After you get to point C, the product is already moving and, gradually it's gaining traction. Then you now come to HOS, to the angels, and say, at that stage, we call it the pre-seed round. At the pre-seed round, you have people, you have like professional angels like myself, or some groups coming together as a syndicate, and usually you send emails to us, but the best bet is look for somebody who knows the person. I mean, for me, that works for me, because, for instance, if you are recommended by PF, I know PF won't send me a company that won't make money for me. Because if it does, that means his reputational capital is already reducing. Right? So it is very, very important. Like when I get recommendation from my friends, in fact, the one that I even love most, they tell me, oh, Wale, check out this company. They are doing very good. This is their rates. This is their revenue. I've even invested $5,000. I said, correct. Because your money is there, right? You put your money where your mouth is, so at that level, that's a pre-seed. So there was a company we invested in last year. It's a identity management company. I mean, when I saw the product, I knew it was going to be a winner, because Nigeria has issues with fraud, and we needed a company that can vet people. In America, let me break it to people who are not aware. America has one of the largest ring of fraudulent operators. So when they tell you Nigeria is corrupt, 419, see, Nigeria is still learning work. Where the American system is. Like, for instance, if you buy a house today, by next week you get like 10 mails in your box telling you, oh, come and buy this, come and buy that. The first question is, how did they know you bought a house? Because in America, so many things are public knowledge. They're public information. Because when you buy a house, it has to be filed at the local county, and so people go to that county to go and buy those information. Anyway, that's on my side. So, we invested in this company, doing verification. So what it means is that if somebody comes to a bank now to obtain a loan, and they give their NIN number, their phone number, bring in their passport, banks doesn't know what is genuine and what is not, right? They need a product like that, because this guy has access to about 200 million SIM cards in Nigeria. He has access to all the international passport that is issued by NIS. So when somebody comes to the bank and say, this is who I am, my name is Prince Fowowe, and I live at Shangotedo. We know what this guy, the bank goes to this guy, and this guy goes back and go to the back end and check, does Prince Fowowe live in Shangotedo? No, Prince is in Dallas. So somebody has decided to, that way, the bank cuts off their losses and they don't give out that loan. So that's what this guy was doing. We invested in him. I think we invested about $55,000. He was looking for 300. We gave him $55,000. I think in April, he moved from pre-seed. In fact, after we invested in him, he got into an accelerator program, which is another level. He got to Y Combinator, which is the largest accelerator program in the world. I was very excited. You know what that it means? It's like your son going to Harvard, because it means the prospect is increasing. He recently raised his seed funding. When we invested in him, it was worth $3 million. His valuation was $3 million. He recently raised the funding at $25 million. You know what that means? It means that he has given us a return of 8.3x That means our investment has multiplied by 8.3. That means if you invested $1,000 in this guy, in that company I'm talking about, your $1,000 is now worth $8,300 within a year. I don't know what else can give you that kind of return. Yeah, it's crazy, maddening return. So yeah, then we have, like that guy will go from seed, he will raise Series A, Series B. I'm sure some of us know Flutterwave. Flutterwave just recently completed is it Series D or Series E? And now they are worth $3 billion. I have a friend who invested $100,000 in Flutterwave in 2016. $1,000. Sorry, $100,000. That $100,000 now is worth 32 million. 32 million because Flutterwave have moved from, I think Flutterwave was worth like between 5 to 6 million when he invested. Now it's worth $3 billion. Right? So that is how people make money. And what got me attracted to this industry was during my MBA. I had a teacher, very, scholastic, very, very smart woman. She was a white, woman. And she was talking about venture capital, how, people make money. And so I had to interrupt her and say, yeah, I've learned that. In fact, I did an online course on Coursera. I love this. I would want to be in this sector. She was like, yeah, then go and apply for a job there. I said, yeah, that's the issue. People that look like me are not in that industry. She was like, no, it's a lie. I said, it is the truth. And she took her time, spent the next 10 minutes. It was like a war between me and her in the class. And she gave me tips how to go around, how to break down the industry. She told me, go do this, do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Guess what? To prove her wrong, in that class, I started doing it. I searched Angel Networks in Dallas, this, that, and I saw one guy who owns the Dallas Angel Network. I saw his name. I took that name. I went to LinkedIn. I saw his profile on LinkedIn, sent him a message saying, oh, I'm an MBA student. I would like to, join your Angel Network. I would like to see what you guys are doing. To my greatest shock, in 30 minutes, he responded, gave me an interview to come to his office on Tuesday. I went for that interview, and the rest is history. That's how I got into Angel investing. Of course, he's a white guy. This industry, 97% of the GPs, the general partners, are white. 97%, right? That is why, it is no brainer that Black people find it difficult to raise money. Because honestly, people who don't look like you won't give you money. It's as simple as that. There is no racism. It is not. That firm that I was talking about is based in Dallas, one of the largest VC firms in Dallas. When I worked with them, I realized that, they only fund projects in the US and Canada majorly. So I asked him, how come you're not doing deals in Europe or Africa? He said, yeah, we've done 1 or 2 deals in Europe. But you know what they do? If they want to fund you in Europe, they tell you, come and open an American branch, an American office, and they will invest in that American office. That comes with some legal stuff and all that. But with Africa, he said, I won't invest 1 dime in Africa. I said, why? He said, because I don't understand the market. That was the key I needed. I said, okay, thank you very much. So I knew gone are those days that we blame everything on slavery, on colonialism. See, those excuses have expired. Now we need to go down to the basics and roll up our sleeves and get the work done. If outsiders won't fund our companies, we need to come together as a syndicate and begin to fund them. And it's amazing. The return on investment is crazy. Like when you get it right, the return on investment is crazy. So for me, at Midlothian Angel, we only fund underrepresented founders. You know what that means? Of course, it doesn't mean if a white guy shows up here and has the best idea like Cuba, I won't fund him. I'll be stupid not to fund him, right? But our goal is folks who naturally won't be funded by a VC, And the angel investment pre-seed stage is a very, very critical stage. Some companies, if they don't have the money, they will fold up. So what we do is to give them the necessary life support, because the big boys, the VCs, they don't come in until at Series A. It is at Series A when the company is worth over 50 million or 100 million. That's when the big boys come in and say, okay, like the guy I used to work for, when he talks to you, he likes your company, the minimum ticket he will invest is $2 million. $2 million, and it makes that decision within 4 weeks. 4 weeks, you get $2 million check. But you know what that comes with. You have to give him a butt seat on your company. Of course, if I'm giving you $2 million, I even want your blood. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I mean, I need to know your blood type, your address, and everything. But it's a very, very interesting industry. And Africa is still day one in Africa. Because we have not even scratched the surface when it comes to venture capital and angel investing in Africa. We have not solved the survey. But I believe that changing the narrative for Africa, angel investing is key to it. Because gone are those days when we feel that AIDS is what we need. What we need now is investment, like correct, serious investment. As of today, this morning as we're talking, Flutterwave is worth more than all the banks in Nigeria combined. Like, take all of them, like GTB, First Bank. I've been telling some of my friends who have banks in Nigeria, if you like yourself, you better go and like see what these boys are doing and start investing in, because some smart banks are already, they have equity in some of these fintechs that are coming up, because it is the future. The future of wealth creation is venture capital. And let me tell you why this is very, very important. The American government has done something very interesting. They have pushed in a lot of laws to limit the entry barrier to venture capital. And why? They will tell you, which is common. They'll tell you, it's because we don't want people to lose their money and they start blaming the government. We're trying to protect this. When a lawmaker is telling you that, you need to go and check the back end, like PF will say. He said, what is the one you are seeing in public and the one outside, right? Because there's always an insider bit. When I checked very well, I realized that the insider bit is simple. They don't want everybody to know this, because this is the secret of the rich people. I just told you we invested in a company and we made 8.3x. There's no other form of event that can give you that, except probably the stock exchange. And the stock exchange, it goes up, it can come down tomorrow, right? This doesn't come down, right? So the American government SEC will tell you, for you to be a venture capitalist, you must be an accredited investor. Who is an accredited investor? I think I have the definition here, so that people can read along. But basically, an accredited investor is someone, according to the US government, you must be earning over. So this is the valuation of Uber, and this is some of our exits. Oh, do I have it here? Okay, I don't have it. All right, so but I'll clearly define it. An accredited investor is someone who has someone who earns over $200,000 a year. $200,000, like in terms of salary or from your investment or whatever, right? As a single living person, you must be earning over $200,000, right? But as a couple, you have to be earning over $300,000. And the US government says that you must have done that for 2 years before you can say you want to enter. You see how what that means? The percentage of Americans who earns that kind of amount, they're just about 5%. People think America is rich. Let's not even go there, because that's we need another session for that, right? So they've done it in a way that this opportunity is only classified and given to people like the rich, like of the rich, the cross of the cross, right? Well, the question I ask is this: why do I need to earn $200,000 before I can invest $1,000 in Uber or in Flutterwave? It makes no sense, right? So one way to be able to do it without breaking any law is to form an Indian network and come together as a syndicate. Like I told you, we invested $55,000 in that guy. That $55,000 is not my money. In fact, all I own out of that money is just $10,000. I have people who invested $1,000, someone else invested $2,000, someone else invested $5,000, and we come together, and we come as a syndicate and we invested, right? So for me, that is very, very important, because our people need to begin to look for, find, all these avenues, because so the way this thing works, let me go back to that funding, the funding plan, because I'm going somewhere. So as you can see, this pre-series A and all of that, right? Series D. By the time a company gets to IPO, you see pre-IPO, all these funding stages are before the company is even listed on the stock exchange. For instance, the guys who invested in Uber, they probably bought Uber shares at 0.2 cents. But by the time Uber got to IPO, it was already $20 per share. Prince, can you see what is happening here? The government has kept it like for themselves and their cronies from when it was 2 cents. Now, when it got to 20 cents, they say, oh yeah, the world. come and invest. That is why anytime a company lists on the stock exchange, the price drops the next day. You know what's happening? Because the guys who are bought at 2 cents, now they are offloading. I mean, if I invested $5,000 and my $5,000 is now 50 million, you think I'll be stupid to hold on to it? Nah, I'm gonna sell it. I'm gonna sell like half of it or even three quarter of it, right? So if you are playing at the stock exchange, you're buying Apple, you're buying Amazon, and you think you are doing a good job, and you can read the market flow. So honestly, the game is rigged. You are playing as in you are playing a game that they know the scores already. Right? If you really want to understand what is happening, you need to go in early at the pre-seed level, at the friends and family. If you have friends who are techie, who are starting out, see, if they come to you and you know they have integrity, because some of them are fraud. Some of them are Florida. You're just looking for easy money, cheap money, right? If you know they have integrity, I'll tell you, liquidate your savings or give them half of it and tell them, I believe in you, I trust in you. And that has been what has like launched people forever, forever into wealth. That is how to build a war chest. Anytime I look at my portfolio, currently I have about 25, 30 of them. Anytime I look at them, I just smile. I swear, there was a company we invested in Kenya last year, July 2021. I won't call the name of the company. So my friend was the seed syndicate, and we gave that guy $50,000. Praise. My biggest regret in that investment was that out of the 50,000, I only invested $1,000 because when they were pitching it, I didn't even understand what they were talking about. But I just liked the fact that the guy seemed clear, he knows what he was doing. That money, we invested that money at a valuation of is it 3 million? 3 million. When the guy, that was at pre-seed, when the guy got to seed stage in February this year, he has gained so much traction. I think from 6,000 users, he now has about 600,000 users. I don't know how he did it, but his numbers was crazy. He raised his seed funding at 200 million, from 3 million to 200 million. PF, you know what has done? My $1,000, in that investment, we did 11.3x. My $1,000 became 11,300.
Wow.
And you know what we did as an Angel Network? We now say, thank you very much. It was nice doing business with you. We sold half of it. So we cash out. So I gave $1,000 and I was getting 5,000 back. We still have half of the, half of our investment in that company because these are series C's. They are still going for series A, series B. So we'll be selling as they are blowing up like that. We'll be reducing our holdings, right? So, brothers and sisters, if you're going to wait till IPO, you are going to get there and realize that the boss has gone. Trekking Lovaco, because these rich guys, they are the ones who make the law. They are not politicians. But like I tell you, I fund my friends who are running for office, right? You think if there's any law that is going to work against me in this city, I don't want to talk too much, but that is the way this system works. That is the way it works. As in, if you see, go and check all the city councils, the mayors and all of them, they are stakeholders in the city, in that ecosystem. They are the ones who appoint themselves to be. It's only in Nigeria that is weird that they go and bring somebody from a farm who has nothing, he has no pedigree, he has no pedigree in leadership, he has not run a business before. He has not run a business in his life, and they say, come and be our president. And the shocking one to me, they now bring the smartest person in, not smart. I say, you come and assist him. So the system is rigged. It is rigged, right? But the reality is there's no perfect system anywhere in the world. It is rigged everywhere. It is rigged everywhere. So you need to understand the game and know how to play it. You need to understand the game and know how to play it. Know where to plug yourself in, and ensure you are making meaningful impact.
Wow. This is it's called Trade Secret. These are back engines that you have given out to my people freely. What I can see from what you've said is, collaboration is the new competition from what you're saying, because I think the biggest challenge is everybody wants to go solo, but from what you have done, you are a connector, you're bringing people together, and, the people are investing in viable ideas, so it now talks about reputation capital, the need for people to have the right networks, to have the right access to information and stuff like that. Thank you very much. Wale, for this amazing, amazing session. If you have any question for Wale, can you ask your question? You can send it to me and I will ask him before I allow him go. I don't want to take so much of his time. But Wale, if you will have a word for, all our listeners today, you've said a whole lot, but, where would you say they should start from? Really?
And where they should start from, like I didn't starting a angel network. I started investing with some angels. There are different angel groups all around you. Start small and don't start. I need to say this: don't start investing $10,000 or $20,000. You will lose your money. Start investing $500, $1,000. That's why the investment we did in Kenya, even though looking back, I regretted it, but it was a wise decision. Because I wasn't sure of that idea, right? There's something called in the industry called FOMO, fear of missing out. Don't be bothered about missing out. You will be fine. There are hundreds of unicorns made every year in every continent, right? A unicorn is a startup or a private company that has 1 billion plus valuation, right? So start from somewhere and don't go it alone. You will be stuck. Don't go it alone. Come with friends. Investing is more interesting when you have people around you, right? Go around, join angel networks. I mean, for our networks, the minimum you can. I mean, all you need is to have $1,000 and you can invest. That is all. You even get a K1 from us, which is an IRS form that helps you write it off. You write it off your tax as an investment, right? So join as much angel network that you can find, and play around with the money, because the difference between rich people and poor people is rich people use their money, they make their money work for them. What I am building, my goal is that at a particular time, I won't need to put in my hours anywhere again. I'll just be looking at the different portfolios and be calling the CEOs. What are you doing with this one? I heard that you guys are in Togo now. And I know the president of Togo. You want me to talk to him for you? Because that's what we do as angels. See, and the angel network is such a very, very diverse and resourceful network. Like in my network, okay, so for instance, there's a company we invested in a fintech we invested in the UK, right? So I was talking to the CEO, and I was talking about expanding elsewhere and all of that stuff. And he was going to go to is it Addis Ababa or so? And I told him, oh, do you know one of the guys who invested in your company when we invested actually works at the ADB, African Development Bank. He doesn't know the guy because I'm the one that know all of them, right? So I just said, no problem. I just linked the both of them up. And that's a bet of it. So that is the importance of angel network. You have folks, because these guys they have other things they're doing. They just come in as investors, to put this together and get stuff done. But apart from, so the difference between angel investors and other form of investment is that we're not just investing our money, we're also investing our network. For instance, I work with one of the 4 biggest tech companies in the world, right? And I handle cloud computing. So naturally, I'm a free resource when it comes to storage on the cloud. What you can do in the cloud, right? You will have to pay thousands of dollars to get that knowledge, But if I'm investing my money into your company, don't worry, you don't need to pay because I know if we go from 5 million to 50 million, I'm okay. As in I have blown, right? So it is very, very important, and building a war chest, So what I usually, the industry standard is that, because some people will hear that and say, oh, the only thing I want to be doing now is angel investing. Please, I didn't say that, right? I am an advocate for diversity. Have a diverse portfolio. What we encourage is that if you have $50,000 to invest in a year, take 5 to 10% of that amount and invest in angel investing, right? 5 to 10. I'm also a real estate investor. PF will tell you, In fact, there's something cooking very soon. PF will talk, right? Very massive, right? So this is not the only thing I do. I invest. I told you stock is late and all of that stuff. Yes, it is late, but I have stocks. We are not here to deceive ourselves. I have stocks. It makes sense. For instance, Amazon is going to be splitting its stocks 1 to 20. Is it not this week or next week? I have to go load up on that. right? It is about looking for the right opportunities and having the right portfolio. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Some people will tell you, the only thing I know how to do is real estate. That's the only thing I want to do. Okay. Like life is a cycle, and there's always a correction everywhere. Like last year, I lost 50% of my stock portfolio. And somebody asked me yesterday, a friend called me from Addis Ababa yesterday, and we're talking. I was like, Wale, so how did you do it? Because we also invested in some Greek stuff that we lost money. It was like, so how do you manage all of that? I said, you know what I lost in stocks and that Greek, the companies I invested in angel investing, that are giving me 8x, 11x. I'm fine. I'm totally fine. And that is what is called, that you need to have a very diverse portfolio such that downwards in any market doesn't affect you. It doesn't affect you.
Okay, I can see a few questions, Wale. How can we partake in future investment? I mean, I think he has answered that question. Then someone is asking, if we have a viable idea and we need funding, would you be open to listening to our pitch? I'm in Canada and have some viable ideas. Yeah, I'm sure will Midlothian Angel be willing to listen to some people who have pitches and all? Well, Wale, that's for you. And someone is asking, can these ideas work in Nigeria?
What ideas? The angel ideas?
Yes.
There are angel networks in Nigeria already. Go Google Lagos Angel, Lagos Angel. Is it Angel Group? Yeah, there are angel networks in Nigeria. In fact, the first one, angel network I joined was based out of Nigeria. Well, I mean, the guy is everywhere. He's based in Tunisia now. You have money, it moves you around. The same way PF will tell you is in San Francisco tomorrow, San Diego, So there are angel networks all across. I'll tell you to join in a local one. Apart from you investing your money, it also gives you access to the people who have money. That's very key. You need them, right? And then you said somebody else talking about, would we listen to your ideas? Please, we will listen to any ideas. You can reach me on info@midlothianangel.org, midlothianangelnetwork.org. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, info@midlothianangel.org or Wale@midlothianangel.org. And we are on LinkedIn, we are on Instagram, we are on Facebook. If you send any message, I will get all of them. Right. So cold emails are welcome. But what I preferred, if you know PF, send it through PF, right? Because I know PF, will screen the idea first.
Okay, good. Good.
Right?
Thank you mentioned that because when we started House of Saviors, we wanted to make it very free. So it's free for all. We are gradually getting to that level where we have to know our people. I mean, we have some people already on some programs already, like 10 companies were selected and they're undergoing some mentoring with a management consultant and international management on how to scale and how to, so we are very intentional. So don't just go and mention my name. Wale Kukuku asked me if I know you, but I think, Wale, you've done so well for us today. Thank you very, very much. I know you have to go to church, so I've got to release you to allow you go. Thank you so much for sharing. And I know that, so someone is saying, I have a set up cooperative okay. You can talk to me about that later. I think the first thing is connection before inviting him to come and speak. It's not a public speaker who goes around everywhere. Sometimes it's here because I called him.
I've actually turned down. As a rule, I don't do public speaking. I've turned down a couple of invitations because I have mentors in the industry who are white people, and I've never seen them on any poster. Mm-hmm. Right, the guys who really have the money, they don't go around you don't make noise about it, right? Yeah. So deliberately, someone has asked me before, your companies are doing well, they raised money, why are you not sharing it on LinkedIn? You're not sharing it here. So the first question the answer I gave was, I won't share it in those places because because my customers are not in those places, because number one, the SEC has even made my life very, very easy by saying that I can only take money from a particular set of people, right? Because they want you to know what you're doing. Because the reality is you can actually lose that money. In fact, my first exit from angel investing was a negative one. There was a company we invested in Pakistan. The guy just wrote an email and said, "I'm not doing it again. I'm tired." PF, I guess what? Luckily for me, I only invested $1,000. I just went into my sheet and I just canceled the company. I said, "Okay, we thank God." But and interestingly, 2 weeks later, that's when we had the 11.3x. So that's the thing. That's the way it works, right?
Yeah.
Some of them won't, will fall by the roadside, but the ones that work, they will make up for it. They will make up for it.
I agree. Thank you very much, Wale. We really, really are grateful for having you here today. You have really, really blessed us, and I'm going to be talking to you off the radar. Thank you for all you've done in Dallas, Texas. I mean, the visits, checking on me, ensuring that I meet the people I need to meet. Thank you. I really, really, I am grateful. I mean, that's why it's good to also invest, no matter how little. Okay. Thank you very much, Wale. God bless you. Okay. I think we're done for today. Oh, okay. Don't worry, Wale. I think you have given enough. I don't want you to. Okay. I don't want to ask another question, so that we don't take advantage of the fact that you are here. Okay, so I will hand over to Ayo Lawrence. Guys, we'll meet again next week, and we'll be having Zeal in the house next week. So you don't want to miss Zeal, But next week also we're going to be doing some zonal splitting in the house, because we want to know where our members are from, our citizens are from, so that we can have smaller splinters and have you guys collaborate to do stuff. And you know that we don't come late. A day is going to come that we will give another address, and you will come to the usual place. You won't meet us because we have been raptured. We need to, like we said from the beginning, we don't want everybody, but we want people who are really, really serious and committed to what we are doing. So we hope to see you next week. Okay. Thank you very much. God bless you, Wale. Thanks so much. My regards to Madam and the children. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Hi, Lauren.